Welcome to Henry Harrison's Entrepreneurs, Business and Finance podcast featuring Fuse Associates founder Jamie Christensen. Remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Henry Harrison podcast, Entrepreneurs, Business and Finance. Today we are lucky to have on the show Jamie Christensen. She is the founder, CEO, owner of Fuse Associates, which I'll let her explain more what that is, but it's a niche, a unique marketing firm, among other things. And I know she'll do more justice to that than I just did, but I wanted you to hear it from her. And she's had that business 10 years, and I've met some clients of hers and friends of hers, and they love working with her and her team. And we met locally because we just live in the same area and work in the same way, and ended up having some friends in common, and I made some introductions for each other. So it's been a lot of fun to have a new friend, Jamie. So hello, Jamie.
Good morning, Henry. There we go.
Let's talk about how you started or what caused you to start Fuse. Because it's been 10
Sure.
years of success since then.
Sure. I think I'm officially unemployable at this point. Yeah, I worked in corporate, specifically institutional finance for 15 years at some very large firms. Loved what I did, but got to the point where I really didn't like the bureaucracy and had the opportunity to go off on my own, moved down here from Des Moines, Iowa about 14 years ago, and was fortunate enough to end up in Dallas, which, as Henry, has a great small business environment. And so when the opportunity that brought me here didn't work out as planned, I said, I'm done. Let's figure it out. So I figured it out. And what that looks like for me and my team is working with small and growing businesses across the US, focused on fractional marketing teams. So whether somebody needs a website or they need a full marketing strategy or a marketing assessment, our businesses that go up to about 20 million in revenue come to us to help them with whatever marketing looks like.
I like to define the word small business because I think the US generally says a small business is 400 employees or less. So 20 million in revenue, that's a sizable business. So probably generally not talking about, and maybe so if they're getting started, but a one person shop, probably more of a larger business than that. But you tell me.
Yeah, most of the time our clients are going to be in the 1 to 20 million in revenue size. We don't look as much as the at the employee side of it or count. But I do have some solopreneurs as well as partners that are revenue generating that even need personal branding. I'd say 80% of our clients fall in that 1 to 20 million, and the rest are under that, but still high performing and need their own marketing help.
Well, that's nice to know. Yeah, the personal branding and they high performing so that you can give them that specialized service. I just mentioned employees because, yeah, I'm sure depending on the industry, I know there's a big difference. 20 million in revenue can have a lot of employees or not as many. But sometimes when people say small business, I'm not sure they necessarily think of a company with 10 million in revenue and 30 employees or have you, but that is the definition
Yeah.
of generally of a small business. And so it's interesting because since we've talked about this, I know you're from Kansas, but then you went to college and got an MBA in Iowa, and finance and marketing. If you were going to characterize someone, you would probably say those are two different people. And of course, you're one person and have a diverse set of skill sets. So I imagine that comes in helpful too when you're going in a company and you can understand their finances as well. And I'm sure there's lots of other marketing agencies that do, but that seems unusual to spend 15 years in finance and then go off into a marketing agency. And I think that's
Yeah.
neat.
And what I thought I wanted to do was be like an emerging markets portfolio manager or investment analyst because I loved international business and I love business, but I don't like spreadsheets and I am not an analyst by trade. So I accidentally ended up in marketing because I still wanted to be really close to investment management, but I wasn't going to be the one managing the money. So a lot of what I did then, as well as the clients we have now, are very technical because finance is technical, and that just tends to be a sweet spot for us.
So you have the creative streak and you have the analytical number streak,
Mhm.
which is pretty neat.
Yeah.
So what was it like when you started? Was there just a day when you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, but I do know what I want to do? Or was there a precipitating event, a process that you went through?
Yeah. So I manufactured an exit for myself out of corporate is probably the nicest way to say it. And at that point, just was really burned out and knew that I wanted to go off on my own. I had the opportunity to leave the job I was in and just thought, okay, let's figure it out.
Yeah. So how did that go initially?
Yeah, it went great because I'm in Dallas. And Dallas is such a special place for making connections. Look at how you and I met, just in the neighborhoods. I don't think there's a lot of places that it would have worked as well as it did here in Dallas. But I was fortunate. I did some fractional CMO work within 4 months of leaving my full-time job, and that bridged me to building my own clientele.
Yeah. It's interesting that you introduced me to Zach with Seat Suites. He started the same way. He left and then he did fraction. He became a fractional CFO, and then he
Yeah.
grew it to where he could have a company to help provide fractional CFO. So in many cases, you feel like that's what you're doing. You're there. They don't have the either the expertise or the desire or the willingness to have a full-time marketing person. So you step in, or you are also sometimes helping their full-time marketing person.
I do both. The premise of Fuse, and I started as a fractional CMO, but quickly realized that small businesses, if they don't have a marketing team, and I don't think most businesses as we've defined them should have a marketing team, if they don't have it, it does me no good to provide a strategy because there's no one there to implement it. So while I love the strategy work, strategy is probably 20 to 30% of what we do, and the rest of it is really the implementation of that strategy. Because that's the thing, small businesses have, by definition, smaller budgets, and we have to be able to figure out what type of marketing tactic is going to move the needle for that business. And if they have is a fractional CMO, one person, I don't care how amazing they are, they cannot cover the breadth of marketing.
You get some good results, or they get good results. I've heard some good things about it. Do you have a story in mind?
Yes. And this gets into, I know, Henry, we're going to talk about AI and how that is transforming businesses, especially for marketing, what marketing can do now with AI. I have a recent client. She has an online education business, and she had been spending $1 million annually on Google Ads and getting a negative return. And she kept doing it because she didn't know what else to do. We were able to go in, not only figure out why her ads weren't working and redistribute that money, but what we realized was not only were the ads not working, but she was missing $900,000 in revenue simply because she wasn't following up with the people that had clicked on her ads. That's where you get to if only one person is in charge of things, and maybe they're specialized in Google Ads. In this case, it wasn't working, but they're not thinking about the broader strategic picture of the whole business. There's issues. In a matter of 6 weeks, we've turned that around pretty significantly. And now not only are her ads making her money, but we're at a 2x on those ads.
Yeah, and $1 million down the drain. How about that? There's some jokes about it. Well, my first job internship really was Cooper's and Lybrand, and it was government consulting. And it's like learn the jokes about consultants, but consultants come in and say, "Oh, you should do this," and then they leave. And so I love the 80% part because that's where everything happens. And the implementation, and because it's not always as easy as following a report that you're given from a
Right.
consultant. In fact, it probably never is as easy as that.
Often business owners are practitioners and great in their trade, but that does not equate to being great in running Google Ads or writing a website or knowing messaging that's going to resonate with their clients.
One of the things too I like too is I had a home building company, my first business, and there was a guy named Lee Evans, and he actually hadn't been a home builder, but he was the leading consultant at the time, and I would go to his seminars, and he had such experience because he saw all the other home builders and
Absolutely.
what they were doing wrong, how he helped them, how they helped themselves. And so he knew more about home building than the regular home building because he had that vast touch with all the
Mhm.
different. So you're touching so many different businesses that I'm sure sometimes you're like, okay, I've seen this one before. Let me tell you what we did last time.
Yeah, and there are things that absolutely we know are going to work across different industries. What will work good in legal may also work really good in the online education segment. But then there's also things that or absolutely no nos. And we don't have a package that we offer. It's not one size fits all. So we really look at what's unique about the business and how can we leverage that and figure out based on their budget what will get results for them.
You're agnostic, aren't you, towards what type of business? Maybe there's an occasional one, but I know you do a lot of work in the legal field. But basically, if someone needs help marketing and they're a small business, they can talk to you, right?
We mainly focus professional services and home services. I've got a great network that if it's something in CPG or retail or restaurants, I will absolutely refer those out. But professional services and home services, I'd say, are our bread and butter.
Okay, so I was mistaken. Yeah, so that's the specialty, but you'll help because you are very well connected in the area, and
Mhm.
of course they can work around the country. So you'll help no matter what if someone wants to reach out
Absolutely.
to you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when you were a child growing up in Kansas City, right? Did you think that you would have your own business? Was that something that was a family characteristic or?
I absolutely knew I never wanted to be a business owner. Yeah, I wanted to be like dad. Dad was a corporate IT guy his entire career. My mom owned actually a brick and mortar music store, so instrumental lessons. So I grew up in a family business and I just absolutely never wanted to do that myself. And here I am.
You probably learned quite a bit, maybe more than you thought you were at the time about that. And retail tends to be long hours. I could imagine that would have been a negative. You were thinking, no one, not that you don't work long hours at times for your clients, but retail is more confining that way typically.
That's exactly right. And yeah, so it was that mom and dad worked his day job and then went to the music store till 9 at night. So yeah, long hours, no vacations. That wasn't what I was looking for. But looking back, mom, especially back in the 80s and early 90s, gave me a great example of what I could do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And probably fewer women probably working owning businesses back then than
Yeah,
now. And not that there weren't quite a number. We weren't in the 30s or anything, but still it's progressed. So there's a lot more working women and women business
absolutely.
owners. So she was somewhat progressive.
Absolutely. And I don't give her enough credit.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
Probably then that kind of ties into AI. And while you obviously have to dig in on a new business that and learn the specifics, because as you say, you're not selling a system of training. You're looking at the actual business and partnering with them and helping them with their needs and goals, helping them define their goals. But at the same time, there's a lot of things that we can do now. Just in the last month, it's changed in AI, where I've got in the other room, Billy helping Doug set up an agent to do CRM stuff on his computer, and it's a connection that wasn't there with chat a month ago.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
had to build it out separately. Now it's there. It's you almost can't have a business conversation now without discussing AI. It ties into what you were saying. You don't want to be working at 11 at night at the
Mhm.
store. And probably the thinking is some of the most important things. Thinking and helping implementation too. But so, how is AI helping, and how can you help people with AI?
It has been amazing to see the differences that it can make. And I'll say, even, I know it's been around 5 years now, but the leaps and bounds, and I know it's the hockey stick look at AI, the type of work I can deliver for my clients was completely outside of not only my team's ability, but my client's budget previously. So, a perfect example is we can take thousands, millions of data points from our clients. This is what we did with the online educator. We were able to compile all that information, take a look at what was working, what wasn't, and create not only an assessment looking back, but also the plan to go forward and tie it even to ROI results. So previously, that would have taken my team months. Usually, that would be a McKinsey or a Boston Consulting Group type of engagement. That would have been 6 figures easily. And we can do it in a matter of days now. It's
You
fun.
know,
It's a
how long
lot
did
of
you say?
fun.
How long did you say it would have
A
taken?
days. Days.
Yeah,
And that's like I've built the repeatable processes, but we still get in there and there's still a lot of checking and
sure.
work.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
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 But no, it's absolutely remarkable. So do you have the typical, what softwares do you use?
Yep. Our go-tos, I have a specific marketing software that I use for a lot of my strategy and messaging. It's called Ella. It's very niche. So I use that. I use Manus, which was recently bought by Facebook. That's probably the most, not probably, that's the most progressive one that I use, that the results are just insane. And then I still have some stuff I do in ChatGPT. The thing is, there's so many systems out there you can look at. I could play all day with a lot of them, but those are the three that I'm tied into the tightest.
Terrific. Yeah, no, that's right. You could spend all your time, waste
Mm.
time shopping for the right software.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with the name Fuse? I like the name. It to me, it's inspiring. Like the fuse to get things going. Like the fuse, we're on. I can. But you got a nice graphics, and you got a nice picture behind. Is that from your firm, or you just bought that picture behind you?
That's Oprah.
Okay. Oh, there
That's
you go. Yeah, I did take a good look because the plant was there.
yeah, but yeah, oh yeah, I need to get my plant has grown exponentially in the last 6 months. But Oprah, years ago, I heard her say, I can and I will, and that just fits me perfectly. I had that designed. Yeah, and Fuse, when I was trying to figure out what to name this business, I was sitting around with a great marketing strategist and we were talking. And when I think about marketing and communications, it's about connecting. And in everything that I do, I'm very relationship driven. And I just wanted that. I just thought that fit perfectly for what I was looking to build.
It's an initial first step, and I know it's going to change because it depends on the company, but maybe give some idea. Someone contacts Fuse and maybe the podcast or someone
Mhm.
referred them and they just have, they've heard good things and that's where it starts and ends. And then what happens?
We have a conversation, figure out number one, do they actually have a marketing need? Not everyone does. Or maybe they're working with someone and I can help them determine is it working or is it not. If it's working, I'm not gonna, I'll tell them it's working. But really, it's just an exploratory meeting. I also, Henry, as we've talked about, I'd love to connect people. So just figuring out if there's a way I can help, whether that's through marketing or through my network or talking, I have to put a plug in about rescue dogs and pit bulls
Yes,
because my life revolves around my three pit bulls.
you're trying to get one. What did you say? It's on your website. You're trying to get it recognized on,
Faith.
yeah.
Yes, follow Faith Christensen on LinkedIn. She is the first LinkedIn dog influencer.
And Pro Advisors has been an important part of your ability to help people as well, right? Through networking.
Absolutely, yes. Provisors is a national networking organization that focuses on attorneys, bankers, and CPAs, which fits very nicely with my business. But I've led a group now for almost 6 years, and most of them are my closest friends. It's often like a day like today where I start my day at 7 in the morning with provisors. I'll end it at 8 p.m. tonight. That's my choice. Not everyone's that involved, but yes, it's been a huge part of my life.
Wow. And believe you said your business has grown over the last year or two. And then while you've been in business 10 years, most people, I'd say everybody's had challenges in business. If they don't share it, it's just because they don't want to share it. But it's just the nature of life and certainly being a small business owner. How did that go? Or what changed? Or what did you overcome? But
You want to go there, Henry?
you can give the one sentence or you can go there.
What changed? This goes back to provisors. I was married and in an abusive relationship for 28 years. The way I got out of that was through my business, through provisors and my network and my friends. And so that happened 3 years ago. The business, it wasn't working before that. And it was mainly because, or a big part of it was because it's very hard to be successful when you're being squashed all the time, we'll say. So I'd say my challenges were more personal that led into issues in the business. But once I was able to get out of that and go into a positive environment, things have shifted pretty dramatically. And that's also, I work with an amazing coach who helped me through all of that transition too.
I wasn't sure if you were going to want to share that.
That's fine.
It could have been anything else. I'd let you pick. But I
Yep.
think people will find that inspiring that you can overcome something like that and how wonderful your life and your business is now
Yeah. Yeah.
and how rewarding you find it and how many friends you have and your employees and your dogs and your rescue and on.
It's pretty amazing to look back, and I'm extremely thankful for every day. I've got Miss Faith is laying right next to me right now. So, yeah, the year I left, I tripled the business, became a first-time home buyer by myself, lost 40 pounds, and adopted two extra dogs. So, it's
My gosh.
yeah, but again, I'm going to say that's having the right people surrounding you. Yeah.
I think it always is in life, the people around us. Wow. So are your parents still with us? Your mom and
My
dad?
mom is. My
Okay.
mom is. Yeah, she's over in Florida. Yeah, and actually, it was a few years after my dad passed that I went off on my own. And his best years were right up until he died when he went off on his own and consulted. And I'm like, I want to do that, but much earlier in life so I can enjoy it. So, yeah,
Neat.
yeah,
Neat.
yeah.
What do you see now for the next, I don't know, year, 5 years?
Yeah,
10?
I am going to ride this AI wave, continue to improve, make repeatable processes. My biggest thing, and this has been a theme for this year, is impact. And I can impact my team, my clients, my community more and more by leveraging AI to get results. So I'm going to keep doing that as long as I can.
Oh, I think you'll be able to do it as long as you want to.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be the thing. So more of the same and better for
Yes.
you and all those around you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to say to wrap up with? The website, pretty easy. It's fuse.com, right?
Fuse
Uh,
Assoc. So
Fuse,
Fuse.
that's right. Fuseassociates.com.
Yeah,
I knew it.
yeah. I want to thank you, Henry. I'm so glad we met. Things are serendipitous once in a while. So fun. We're doing this virtually, but I know you're 5 minutes away. So thank you for giving me the opportunity. And I'm excited to see everything that you're doing and the people around you are doing.
Vice versa.
Yeah,
Absolutely. We'll see each other soon.
absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for watching Henry Harrison's Entrepreneurs Business and Finance podcast. Remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. You can also search Henry Harrison Podcast on your favorite podcast platforms.